Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're continuing our exploration into the profound world of dreams and goals. We're drawing from that really comprehensive book, Dreams and Goals, Building a Life with Purpose and Passion. Now, for you, our listener, who's really keen on understanding the blueprint for, well, purposeful living, we've already covered why dreams matter. And we even cleared up that often confused distinction between, a dream and a concrete goal. But our mission for this deep dive is to go even deeper. We're going to really try and unearth the psychology behind daring to dream big. It's a question lots of us think about. Why does some people seem to just naturally think bigger or bolder, like way beyond their current reality? While others, maybe even you sometimes, find themselves sort of holding back, tied down by these invisible strings. What's actually going on in our minds when we let ourselves imagine a life that, right now, might feel almost impossibly out of reach? We're diving into Chapter 3 of the source material, which, as you'll see, really explores these deep-seated beliefs and mental frameworks that shape our visions.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, looking at the core message, is just how much our ability to dream big isn't really about innate talent or, luck. It genuinely seems to be about our mindset. And that's not just some feel-good phrase. It's like a foundational psychological truth. This whole idea that our internal world directly impacts how big our external goals are is just crucial. It connects so deeply to the whole theme of building a life with purpose and passion. That journey is shaped by our most, intimate internal beliefs, which really raises an important question for you listening and for us today. If our minds are the main battleground, where our biggest dreams either grow or get shut down, what are the key psychological tools we actually need to equip ourselves, not just to dream, but to dream big without limits?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the source material highlights this tension so well. Big dreams are both exciting and totally terrifying. They show us immense possibility, this huge horizon, but they also bring this massive sense of responsibility. They ask us to imagine life beyond where we are now, which is wonderful, but doing that exposes all those fears and doubts we try to keep hidden, even from ourselves sometimes. And the book really hammers this point home, but absolutely mindset. Not intelligence, not talent, not just random luck. That's what dictates how big we let ourselves dream. It's a powerful thought, really. The biggest limitation might just be inside us.
Absolutely. And a core concept the book brings up, something widely recognized in psychology, is Carol Dweck's fantastic idea of the fixed versus growth mindset. Understanding this difference is, honestly, a game changer when you think about your own capacity to dream big. Let's break it down a bit because it's so central. Okay, so a fixed mindset basically works on the belief that your abilities, your intelligence, your talents, they're all just set. Fixed. You're either born good at something or you're not. And if you try something and fail, that failure isn't seen as like a chance to learn. It's seen as proof that you're just not good enough or not smart enough. So this mindset makes people avoid challenges, right? Why risk showing you're not good enough? They give up easily when things get tough, and they often set small, safe goals, or maybe, sadly, no goals at all, because of that limiting belief. You might hear someone say, oh, I'm just not a creative person, and they never even try sketching or writing. They just close that door.
So it's like they've got this built-in ceiling on their potential, whether they realize it or not. That makes total sense why it would shrink your dreams.
Exactly. Now contrast that with a growth mindset. This operates from this really freeing belief that your abilities, your intelligence, your skills, they can always improve. You can learn, you can adapt, you can grow no matter where you start. And here, failure isn't this crushing defeat. It's valuable feedback. It's a step, important info on the path to getting better. People with a growth mindset, they embrace challenges because they know effort leads to improvement. And they are definitely not afraid to dream big. They might say something like, I haven't figured that out yet, which is just a profoundly different way of thinking. So the main takeaway from the source material is really clear. If you want to dream bigger, expand what you think is possible for yourself. You need to consciously choose to cultivate and grow your mindset. It's an active thing, not passive.
That's such a powerful difference. It really hits home how much control we actually have. And growing your mindset, like the book says, connects right into what psychologists call self-belief or self-efficacy, which is basically your belief in your own ability to succeed, to reach goals, overcome challenges. And it plays a massive role in how big you let yourself dream, how high you set your goals, and maybe most importantly, how much you persist when things get tough. And the source material helpfully points out 4 key places self-belief comes from, which is great because it gives us a kind of roadmap. First up, mastery experiences. This just means successfully doing something, even small stuff, like learning a new recipe and it turns out great, or finally nailing that tricky presentation. Each little win builds confidence, and you can use that confidence for bigger things, like maybe starting that side project you've been thinking about. Second, role models. Seeing other people, especially people you relate to, achieve their dreams. It makes your own feel way more possible. It's that if they did it, maybe I can too thought. Could be a mentor, someone famous, even someone in your family who broke the mold.
Their story lights your path. Third is social support. Getting encouragement, validation, just having people believe in you, friends, family, mentors. It can be a huge boost for self-belief. Imagine hearing, I really think you can do this when you're full of doubt. Those words can be like fuel. And fourth, mindset training. This means actively working on it. Positive thinking, affirmations, self-reflection, consciously reframing those negative thoughts. It's like building an internal strength muscle bit by bit, getting your mind ready for that big dream journey. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, right? Because even if we build up all this self-belief, there's often that shadow lurking, the fear of failure. It's such a common barrier for so many of us. Stops us from even taking the first step towards a really big dream.
Oh, it absolutely is. So many people, consciously or not, avoid big dreams just because they're terrified of failing. And as your source material points out, and yeah, psychologists like Bandura talk about this too, this avoidance seems protective, but ironically, it shrinks your dreams over time until they're barely there. The book offers this really important reframe. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's not the end. Instead, it's an integral, unavoidable, and actually often crucial part of the journey towards success. You think of Thomas Edison, right? After all those tries with the light bulb, he famously said, and this quote is just so transformative, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's not just clever talk. It fundamentally shifts your view from defeat to discovery. So to really dream big, you kind of have to normalize failure. Expect it might happen, prepare for it, and crucially commit to learning from it. It's not the end. It's just data, a signpost showing you a better way. But to your point about the emotional side, because it's easy to say normalize failure, but feeling disappointed is real. The book implies that managing that comes from the growth mindset itself. If you truly believe you can learn and grow from it, then the sting of failure becomes less about, I'm a failure, and more about, okay, this approach failed, what can I learn for the next try? It's about building emotional resilience alongside that intellectual shift.
That is such a powerful way to put it. From personal defeat to just a solvable problem. Wow. And speaking of where these deep beliefs come from, it's kind of wild to think our ability to dream big now might have roots way back in our childhood. The source suggests that if you grew up where dreaming was maybe discouraged or shamed or even mocked, you might find it genuinely harder to think big now. Maybe you heard be realistic or don't get your hopes up. Those messages, even if well-intentioned, can build internal walls around our imagination without us even noticing. But here's the really empowering bit the book gives us, and this idea really stuck with me. You can reparent yourself. As an adult, you have the choice, the power, to give yourself the encouragement, the validation, the freedom to imagine that maybe you didn't get earlier. This isn't about blame. It's about empowering your present and your future. So what does reparenting yourself look like? Well, it could be speaking kindly to yourself when you hear that inner critic. It could mean deliberately surrounding yourself with other dreamers who lift you up, who celebrate big ideas, not people who just reinforce scarcity. It might even mean consciously creating a mental safe space where your imagination feels totally welcome, unjudged, free to just wander and create. Your past shapes you, sure, but it doesn't have to define your future dreaming potential. You can rewrite that internal story.
And that idea of parenting, of curating your own influences, ties right into the huge impact of our environment. It's undeniable. Think about it. If you're constantly swimming in negativity, fear, messages of limitation, maybe from the news, social media, even pessimistic people you know, your dreams are almost bound to shrink. But flip that. If you immerse yourself in hope, creativity, stories of progress and possibility, your dreams can really bloom and expand. And the great news, this is key, is you don't necessarily have to move house to change your environment. You have so much control over who you listen to, what you read or watch, how you set up your own physical and digital spaces. That deliberate curation, it's a powerful act. This also leads us beautifully to the incredible and honestly liberating concept of neuroplasticity. For ages, science mostly thought our brains just stopped changing much after childhood, became kind of rigid, but now we know that's just not true. Neuroplasticity means your brain can literally change, grow, reorganize itself based on what you do, think, and experience your whole life. The implications are huge, especially for dreaming big. It means you can actually build new neural pathways that make bold thinking feel less scary and more natural over time. You can become more confident, build amazing resilience, and yes, actively train your mind to think bigger. And this isn't just theory. Consistent daily habits like reading inspiring stuff, journaling about your desires, practicing mindfulness, learning new skills, these things literally boost your brain's capacity. They strengthen the connections linked to imagination, problem solving, perseverance. So if you've ever caught yourself thinking, oh, I'm just not a dreamer, or I'm not wired that way, just remember, you absolutely can become one. Your brain is capable of that shift. You just need to give it the right input and practice consistently. The brain really is like a muscle you can train.
That's such an exciting thought, really, isn't it? Just knowing we're not stuck with whatever dreamer level we started with, that we can actively shape it. And talking about big influences, we definitely can't skip over cultural and societal factors. The source material touches on this briefly, but importantly, how culture plays this massive role in shaping what we believe is possible, often without us even realizing it.
Oh, definitely. In some cultures, for example, expressing a really big, bold dream is seen as a good thing, a sign of ambition, of vision. Think about that entrepreneurial spirit often celebrated. But in other places, saying the same thing might be seen as, I don't know, prideful, unrealistic, maybe even disrespectful to tradition. Think about how gender roles or economic expectations or even subtle family pressure, like you should follow this safe path, can really shape what we feel allowed to dream. These aren't always loud commands, often they're just atmospheric pressures. The book wisely encourages you, the listener, to respectfully but firmly challenge these scripts if they feel limiting. It points out rightly that so many world changers throughout history had to consciously push against the norms of their time to chase their big visions. Their breakthroughs often came from questioning the rules, daring to imagine something different. It's about, honoring where you come from, understanding your context, but still being brave enough to forge a new path for yourself that might not fit the old mold perfectly. It's a bit of a dance.
So, after unpacking all this psychology, mindset, self-belief, reparenting, neuroplasticity, what does it all mean for us, for you, practically speaking? It means understanding this deep stuff isn't just interesting. It points directly towards effective action. Dreaming big, the source stresses, takes huge bravery, yes, but it also needs this careful balance of discipline and humility. The best dreamers, it says, are the ones who can see far into the distance and take steady steps right now. They have that huge vision, that North Star, but they also get that it's not one giant leap. It's built step by methodical step with consistent effort, which connects so well with what James Clear says in Atomic Habits. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And that gives us a perfect little hint about our next essential step in this whole journey moving from the why to the how.
Exactly. So to wrap up this part, what this deep dive really shows us is that dreaming big isn't just some wish or idea. It's truly a profound way of life. It demands courage to even imagine it, confidence to go after it, an unwavering commitment to keep going. It really asks you to cultivate belief in yourself before anyone else necessarily does. It challenges you to intentionally push past those ingrained fears, past the failures that will happen, and past whatever limits, self-imposed or external, you might have carried. But when you embrace that, when you really dare to think beyond what's normal or safe or realistic, you create the fertile ground, the space for real, authentic transformation in your life.
Absolutely. And that leaves us and leads you with a couple of really provocative thoughts to chew on, building right on everything we've talked about today. First, if dreaming big truly is a skill, something you can actively develop through mindset shifts and this amazing brain plasticity, then what long-held impossible dream, that little whisper you've maybe ignored, might you be ready to dust off and look at again with this fresh understanding? What idea has just been sitting there waiting for this shift in how you see it? And maybe even deeper. Think about this. What would your life actually look like if you fully leaned into this radical idea that you can parent yourself into a bigger, bolder, more confident dreamer? How might your daily choices change? What opportunities would you suddenly see and maybe actually go for? It's a powerful lens for self-discovery and perhaps, the very next step on your path to building that life with purpose and passion. Definitely something to think about as you move forward. MLS English podcast narrator, soft, peaceful, supportive.
That's a wrap for today's episode on MLS English Podcast.
If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who's serious about growing in English and in life. Keep practicing, keep pushing, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's grow together.